So with our first question, Dr. Jones, what are 3 accomplishments you have had in the last 5 years that have prepared you to serve on the City Council?
Well, I think there have been many things. It's hard to elucidate all of them, but I think I have stood very strongly for making this city very fiscally strong. Calvin Coolidge said it a number of years ago. He said, the business of government is business. Well, I'll paraphrase it a little bit. I think the business of government should be to encourage business and commerce in the city, because that's the only way we're going to get our revenues. And if we don't have money, we cannot do the things that we're needing to do. Our city is 121 years old. It has a lot of infrastructure problems, and it takes money to do that. Also, when we have this money, we're able to address all of our citizens. We're able to take care of the citizens of lower economic status. We have a mandated program to build affordable housing, and by golly, we're doing it. We're doing a very good job of it, and you can witness that over in the Richmond area. We've taken and expanded our parks. Look at Hillcrest Park. Look at the reservoir that was built in 1918. That thing had roots growing in it at any time. Now we were worried it was going to break down. But we've buried it and covered the top of it, and we have a huge grassy area up there. That's a terrific park for picnics, weddings, you name it. So those are about 3 things, but there's so many more. That's what's so wonderful about the city. It has been progressing very significantly throughout the years. We're seeing repairs now to our streets, even though the cost of asphalt has gone up 3 times. But we're able to handle it through wise management of our resources and using redevelopment money in a sensible manner. We can go on, but I think that's probably getting close to the maximum.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and your internal clock as well. Ms. Haluza, the same question. What are 3 accomplishments you've had in the last 5 years that have prepared you to serve on the City Council?
Certainly. I worked in my capacity as a professional planner for 13 years for the City of Brea, and was part of the team that implemented the redevelopment of downtown Brea. I don't use that as an example for necessarily what Fullerton should become, but as an example of working with a community to help them achieve a vision that they had for themselves and implement it and make it a reality. It's a very successful destination shopping center, and it's just one example of the way in which I was able to work with the public and a community and help them achieve a goal for themselves. I also, in my capacity there, was the lead planner on the Brea General Plan update. I have extensive experience in working with planning documents and working with the community to, again, help them figure out for themselves where they want to go in the future, what they want their own community to look like, and then implement that. In my own neighborhood, I organized our own neighborhood, over 200 property owners, to become the Jacaranda Malvern Preservation Zone, and was awarded Historic Preservationist of the Year by Fullerton Heritage for that effort. So again, working with a neighborhood on a local grassroots level to motivate people, organize them, listen to them, and help them achieve a dream for themselves. And that's what I want to bring here to this City Council, so that we can work together to achieve the vision for ourselves that we think is where we want to go in our next 100 years.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hahn, same question.
If I can say the last 3, the accomplishments in the last 5 years, what I can say is, recently that I was appointed, actually last year I was appointed to the Orange County Human Rights Commission, and as I'm an immigrant, and the minority group and a local government has kind of a little bit problems there, so I've been helping those people who has victimized, if I can say that word is right. They have some kind of certain problems there for the rents, and then they don't even know how to say where they're gonna go to say or something. Then I've been help those people, and then secondly, that I was served as a Parks and Recreation, so I've been served that one. And then thirdly, that I was as a realtor, as a businesswoman. I've been helping those people, and then trying to settle down in Fullerton City to reside. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Nelson.
to try and draw more individual than group accomplishments from the council, I think specifically the most notable thing is when I was the mayor, the first time Christopher Cox, our Secretary of the Transportation at the federal level, had sent OCT a letter denying the center line from going through. At that time, OCTA had $330 million set aside for rail projects. Measure M continued to dock myself and all the rest of the citizens of Fullerton half a cent on every dollar spent for transit. We had no project in the works and none on the slate to be approved. I sent a letter demanding that Fullerton be allocated its proportionate share of that $330 million for parking, because we have the largest transit center between LA and San Diego. And I believe as a result of that, not only did Fullerton get $32 million toward their parking structure, but also Irvine, Orange, and Anaheim and Santa Ana all immediately got parking structures because they realized they had to spend the money. Secondly, and of recent note, I took a stand and stood up against retroactive pensions. I believe they're bad for the city. I believe they're an insult to working taxpayers. And third, I would just tell you, probably the biggest blessing that I enjoy every day other than my family is I am the football coach of the 10 and 11-year-old kids in Fullerton now, 8 and 9 last year. It's an incredible experience that would have been so easy to say, I'm too busy to do. And plenty of busy people out there, probably none busier than me, although I'm sure we have a lot of ties. I made the active decision. I wasn't going to say no, and I certainly wasn't going to reach 60 and look back and wonder what I would have done with the time if I missed it with my son. And I love those kids. We have a great team. Come out on Saturday and see us. It's been the greatest experience I've had as a citizen so far, other than raising my kids.
Thank you very much. Mayor Quirk, what are the 3 accomplishments you have had in the last 5 years that have prepared you to serve on the City Council?
I think a common theme for me, of course, is education. I'm an educator at the school that I attended as a child, Richmond Elementary. But of recent is seeing my 2 daughters graduate and go off to universities. And for that, again, in a family where that has not been the norm, to have both of them attend and be competing, my daughter in the Midwest as a speech and debater, traveling across the Midwest, and my other daughter at the University of San Diego. But where that comes to parallel along with our city is Fullerton is the city of education, and I think I was able to initiate not the idea, the Chamber of Commerce with Ms. Pat Soderquist talked about that over 10 years ago, but to move it forward on our council and receive a consensus vote to actually brand our city as the city of education. Economically, that has an impact because Fullerton is very stable in this period when other cities are struggling because of our education. We are not only stable economically, but we are very highly regarded as far as our educational institutions, bringing in over 50,000 students a day, and in essence, we are the city of the business of education. So that I'm very proud of. Secondly, public participation, civic engagement, and listening to the voices of our community. I feel that I've had a role in not only expanding that. We have a general plan advisory committee that was expanded to 15 members, and I feel like I had a direct role in asking for that expansion. With that, many new voices added. And lastly, I believe that some of the awards that I've received in the last 2 years, one for teaching, one for the role I've had in the Richmond Community Center, is not only important to me, but I feel like people have noticed that I'm out there working for the people of Fullerton.
Thank you very much.